Hey, Besties. Welcome back to another episode of the Besties podcast. I'm your host, Elisa.
And I'm your co-host, Samira, a.k.a. Samski.
And today, we are back with another episode, all right? We know it's fall. Fall is here. The leaves are changing, and it's a perfect time to talk about leveling up in your 20s without losing your mind, without losing your friends, without losing everything, okay? Today's episode is jam-packed. Let them know. What can they expect from today?
We're going to be talking about first jobs, self-worth struggles, adulting chaos, because you know adulting, you be adulting, child, mindset hacks, and even fall-inspired glow-up tricks. But with that being said, without further ado, let's get into our first segment, Hot Mess Careers. And honey, that honestly is a really big, I would say, what a lot of people can relate to in terms of just careers and figuring it out. Post-college and 20s, like we all go through, like they say, quarter life crisis. I feel like I've gone through it. I'm sure you've gone through it.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really going to just be figuring out kind of what we went through with our first jobs, what hacks that we have, and break down strategies for standing out without burning out.
Okay.
So how do you know, Liz, if you're in the right career path? What does the besties need to know?
I feel like you know you're in the right career path if you feel happy, if you feel some level of fulfillment. I'm not a 9-to-5 girly. I really don't like it in my spirit. I could have a 9-to-5 job, but in my spirit, I'm not going to be happy and fulfilled. I may be like, okay, this works for me and I'm happy I can get these coins, okay? But I think at the end of the day, like say you are in a 9-to-5, are you happy there? Do you feel like a level of fulfillment? Do you feel joy in the work that you do? Even if some days it's stressful, even if some days there's people at work that piss you off, overall, you have to feel a sense of joy and fulfillment, in my opinion, to feel like you're in the right career path.
Yeah, 100%. In life, there's a lot of highs and lows. I have always known that a 9-to-5 was a means to an end, and it was something I knew I had to do, that I know I wanted to stay there. Ever since I was growing up, I knew that I wanted to start something of my own, but I also knew I wanted to impact lives. And so for a while, I was like, God, what is my purpose on this world? And in this world, and believe it or not, how I knew I found my right career path, I think as I've been going through this journey in different, corporate jobs, and then finally, with Besties and like really working for myself now. And I would say within prayer, I really realized I'm like, okay, I feel like I am living within God's purpose for myself. And that's just something I think God spoke through me, and I knew. And I don't know if there's like a right pinpoint. Like there's days where it's like, it's hell and it's a lot of work. And then there's days like that it's like joyful and it's crazy. And you're like, I can't believe that just happened. So I don't think there's like a moment. I think fulfillment is a big thing, but there's not a moment where we're like, okay, there's there is like very high highs and very low lows, but there's not like, there's days like you wake up and you're like, oh my God, there's a million things to do today. So I think even in the right career path, you'll feel those things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, you could either feel it for yourself or you could feel it for somebody else and somebody else's dreams. So I just choose, and there's no wrong answer, right? Like you choose what's best for you. But for me personally, I was like, okay, for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm living in my God-ordained dream.
Aw, I love that. We were at a hotel and I woke up in the morning and I heard her on the phone, and that's like the first thing I heard her say when I woke up, and I smiled in my bed. I was like, aw. That's good advice, sis.
Yeah.
I got another question.
Yeah.
How do you handle being underqualified for a role that you want?
I love this question. I love it. I say take up space and do it anyways, right? You can learn on the job. I think it's really important that even when you get into interviews and if you feel like you're underqualified, that you don't give off that energy and you show up like confident. And I'm not saying, to be so far-fetched, right? You're not going to apply to a job that says 10 years of experience and you're post-grad, of course, right? But maybe it says 3 years of experience and, maybe it's making a little bit more money. You can bet on yourself, right? I think that a lot of things and just in jobs and careers that you learn a lot, and there's a lot of systems that you learn on the job. So I feel, why not? Like you can feel underqualified for, but just don't be afraid to take up space. And I would say, just do it anyways.
Absolutely. And you know what? I have to say it.
Right.
I have to say it. White men, they are the ones who are going to read the job description, see that they are underqualified, and apply anyways.
It's
and a lot of
because
times
they have the audacity to do it. So
they have the audacity,
sis. Have the audacity that they do. I actually have a small story.
Okay.
Believe it or not, and I'm not going to say any names or anything, but when I was in high school, my good friend was dating this guy. He was a Jewish white man. I'm so happy you mentioned it. He went to apply for a role. He dropped out of high school, didn't even have a college degree, and he faked a Stanford degree, and he just like showed the certificate. And this is back then, so like the internet and stuff wasn't as.
That's crazy.
He got the job at it was like a mortgage broker firm or something like that, and I don't know where he's at now, but it kind of was giving Suits, which is like, I don't know if you know Suits, where he like faked having a law degree. But I was like, what the heck? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, that could never happen for me. Like, I knew in that moment, because I was probably a junior in high school, and I was like, I have to go to a good college. Like, I need to work really hard so I can go to like a good college, so I can get a good job. But what he did felt so like, this is impossible, because when you are Black, and especially a woman of color, you have to do things. You have to be twice as great. You need to show up in the rooms and be better than your counterparts, because they're expecting you to fail. So when I say have the audacity and be audacious, but also like show up in these rooms and know that you can do it, because
absolutely,
like, you belong in these rooms.
I love it. I love that question. I'm happy with our answer. Hope you girls are too. Okay, clock it.
What's the move when you love the job but hate the people?
Can you do the job somewhere else?
Yeah, that's a hard one, because you're with these people 40 hours a week.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard because, like you said, it takes up a lot of your time. Like, 40 hours a week. If I feel like I'm in a role that is like a toxic environment, if I feel like I can't trust the people I'm around, if I feel like people are out to get me or whatever, like, I'm going to be walking on eggshells for 8 hours a day, and it's not a good place for my mental health. So I think for me personally, I would try to see if I could do the same job somewhere else. And I would just start applying. But in the meantime,
I say put your head down, do your work, keep doing a good job. I think what I have learned in the corporate space, and I feel really blessed that someone pulled me in until this day. I love you. Shout out OJ. She was a mentor for me when I started my corporate career, because growing up first gen and just growing up, with immigrants, like, you don't know how to really navigate corporate spaces, right? And you need to know from the jump that these people at the end of the day aren't your friends. Like, they're here for a job like you are, and you're here for a check. So you always do. Like, I wouldn't really overshare to my counterparts at work. I really keep it business and like really professional. And I'm like somebody that like blocks the people that I work with, because I don't need them to know what's going on in my life. That's just me personally. I don't mix business and pleasure personally. So I would just say, honestly, like, at the end of the day, like, maybe you don't love the people and you don't really like them, or maybe they're not messing with you. But I would say anyways, like, just stick to yourself, do your job. At the end of the day, you need the check to pay your rent, to pay, continue your life. And maybe it's like, it's better anyways. You don't need to overshare, and they don't need a reason. I feel like sometimes they need a reason when you overshare, to like, they find something to get you out the door. So at least that doesn't give you a reason to overshare with them, since you don't like them. So it might be a blessing in disguise.
I agree. The way in my last job, I was trying to avoid like all these personal conversations they were trying to have. They're like, what do you like to do for fun? I'm like, shopping, knowing I have a whole podcast, so hey.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm thinking, I'm trying to feel like if we should move on to another segment, or you got another question in mind maybe for the girls.
I have one more.
All right.
How do you negotiate salary as a young professional?
I actually feel like Samira is the one to answer this question more than me, but my 2 cents, how do you negotiate salary? I would, first of all, look up the other salaries like for this role. I would definitely overshoot. Do not take the first offer, counter offer. That's what comes to mind first. What are your thoughts?
Mind you, I'm not a recruiter. This is just from advice that I've gone from mentors. I don't really ever, when they ask me what my salary range, I don't really give them my salary range, because I feel like I could be shooting myself in the foot. Like, so maybe I'm saying like 140 to 180 when really the band of this was 225. So really I ask like, what are salary expectations for this role? And then they'll most likely give me a range. And then from there, let's say like they need a reason to give you the higher band. Like you need to show your expertise with your resume. And then, AI is your friend. Use it. You can spruce yourself up and really show why you deserve the higher band of that salary range, right? So I think the biggest advice is do not shoot yourself in the foot by giving that range, because some people, it's if they're 180, you're yeah. My top of band is 180 and it was 225. They'll be yeah, of course I can do it. They won't even let you know, because they're always, and again, this goes back to corporate, right? They're always in the benefit of the corporation and not for the individual themselves. So when it comes to making friends in corporate, at the end of the day, you got to remember these people work for the institution and the corporation. So it's always going to be in the benefit for that. So my advice to you, besties, is to just, don't overshare. And that, it's the same thing. Do not overshare. We love to be running our mouth, but don't overshare and just let them speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing before we tie up this question, I feel like a lot of us girls, we feel fear around money and expecting more. The idea of making more money than you thought you could have made could create some kind of fear for a lot of girls. So say maybe, especially if you haven't been around girls that are making, I don't know, 6 figures plus, or maybe you didn't go to college or something like that, and you, for whatever reason, feel you're not qualified for the roles, you may generally feel afraid to ask for 6 figures. In your head, maybe 6 figures is crazy. You were expecting 50, you were expecting 60, you would take 80. So when they ask you, you're going to be oh, I made 55 in my last job.
Don't ever do that, though.
Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that.
And also, you miss all the shots you don't take, right? So it's let's say too, the highest band is 80, right? You could be okay, well, are you able to do 100? And maybe they can't come back with a salary based at 100, but they might be able to come up with RCUs, which is stock of the company, with 15K, and then maybe they'll come back with PTO or a sign-on bonus. You also really, the worst they can say is no. When you do not ask, you simply just do not know. So I think the biggest mistake a lot of women do is they answer and they say yes to the first offers. Never say yes to the first offer. Come back and negotiate, because I'm trusting you. These corporations, they have deep pockets and you deserve more. Have the audacity that the white men have.
Clock it.
Because they're not afraid. They're not afraid to ask, and you shouldn't be either.
I agree.
All right, next segment here, self-worth check. I actually like the self-worth check.
Let's see.
We're really going to be looking at, confidence and tackling comparison and anxiety, etc. So I want to ask you, sis, how do you stop comparing yourself to peers on social media?
I think the easiest for me, the way to stop doing this is really my faith with God, because I feel every time I tap into God, I hear, that I'm more than enough. I hear that I'm already chosen. I hear that I don't need to do anything more or less to be loved. There's nothing I can do that's going to take that away. So I think sometimes growing up, especially as women, we're kind of taught to compare ourselves. It's kind of wired in us as girls. And, luckily, if our moms told us not to do that, then maybe that kind of helped us out along the way. But a lot of us are taught to compare ourselves, are taught competition against each other. So I think having that groundedness that you're unique, you're authentic to yourself. There's no one who could do it the way you do it. Okay, honey.
That je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, you got the je ne sais quoi. You got that. Be happy in your shoes and your skin. And God is watching. You can't miss anything that's meant for you. And just those reminders and having that groundedness is what kind of keeps me away from comparison. How about you?
I love that. I guess just to add, and if you're a day one A1 and you listen to this, shout out mama. She's taught me, literally, I remember since I was maybe 5 years old, she's taught me there will always be someone prettier, taller, skinnier than you, but there's no you. And I've had that instilled in me since I was a young girl, and I carry that everywhere I go. And it's true. There is some people that have nicer skin than you, that are skinnier than you, that have longer hair than you, that, maybe has a better outfit than you, that has more money than you. And I think at the end of the day, and again, sounds cliche, and you probably heard me say this, and like J. Cole said, love yours. There's no one that can do it like you. No one can replicate it like you. And again, day one, A1, God said there's there's literally not DNA that is replicated like you. Not even a twin has your same DNA.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I personally, I show love to the girls on social media. Maybe I'm a little shady boots. I'd be like, ooh, that outfit didn't look too good. I'm a little shady. But at the end of the day, I feel we're all humans in this life, and social media is also a highlight reel. So I do take things with a grain of salt. So I don't internalize anything that I see online personally.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, period. Y'all heard it here first. All right. How about imposter syndrome? How do you deal with imposter syndrome at school, at work, or if you don't experience it, what advice do you have for the girls?
You see, the problem with me, especially when it came to work, because I knew it was a means to an end, I was never trying to be employee of the month per se. Like, I wasn't trying to be the best. I was trying to float enough where I get my check. I wasn't trying to get a promotion. Like, obviously I want to get a bonus, but I wasn't trying to get a promotion. I'm okay with where I'm at. And as I gain years of experience, I get more money. So personally, I didn't have that because I didn't feel that in the corporate space, but I could say maybe in the podcast space, and now that we're growing here and now we're in community events, it can be like, oh my God, they're doing this and they're doing that. I think just really staying in our lane, because we're not even 1.5 months in. We're 1 and 3 months in. And to see how far we've grown, it's so easy to compare yourself to someone's level 20 when you're level 2 or level 3, right? Like, you cannot compare yourself to someone that's maybe years in. So I just really trust that I know I'm on God's divine plan for myself, and I'm going to end up where I need to end up. But it's also when I see those other people, I'm like, okay, this is where we can get. It's possible. I'm like, okay, Alex Cooper, call her daddy, got 100 million. I'm like, okay, where's our 100 million? Not oh my God, I feel jealous of Alex Cooper, but I'm like, okay, this is possible for us.
Inspiring.
Definitely inspired. I love you, Alex.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I totally agree with you. I feel like imposter syndrome is something that I have read a lot about, just because I'm in the coaching industry, and a lot of people work through imposter syndrome, especially if they're starting a business or, something like this, a podcast. So my advice for the girls here is faith, like you said, and everything we talked about already with God and God's plan for you. And also just knowing that it's okay to be where you are, right? It can be really hard to deal with trying to compare yourself to, like you said, someone's, level 10 when you're at a level 1.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to try to manage your mindset and your perspective on things, because as simple of a perspective shift can really change how you're seeing the entire thing and how you're feeling about all of it. So just watch your mind and your thoughts and how you're thinking about it, and keep it a stack with yourself.
Yeah, your mind is so powerful, just as much as what you speak holds power, but what you're thinking as well and what you're internalizing in your mind is so powerful. Because I'm like, okay, I have no reason why I'm not going to be a millionaire, and God's going to make me that. And that's what I'm thinking on a daily basis. So you heard it here first.
I can't wait for my M's. All
right, we're going to do one more in this segment because I think it's really important.
Okay.
How do you overcome self-doubt when trying something new?
You don't. You just deal with it. I always say self-doubt or fear is a passenger for the ride of life. If you're going to do anything new, you're going to feel afraid. You're going to feel doubt. You're going to be not sure. And I think that's just part of gaining your stripes, in my opinion. And it's completely normal. And if anything, you're going to fail forward. So fail, learn, and you're going to keep going, and you'll get better as you go.
I always say feel the fear and do it anyways, right? We talked about it earlier, have the audacity to do it, right? What's the worst that can happen? Like she said, you fall, and then you're going to get up and try again. It'll be lessons learned. You can take some of that feedback to go ahead and do something better. But at the end of the day, even starting this podcast, I mean, we felt the fear. Doing an event, creating the Pause Festival. People that don't know, we created a 500-person plus event. We planned it in a month and a half.
We didn't know what we was doing. Barely had coins to do it. And then it all, we just had faith and we trusted in God. And I think that's really important, a part of the journey. And even if we did fail, I mean, we weren't going to be okay, we're not doing it again. There's things that we learned from the pause. Luckily, it was a successful event, but there was a lot of things that we could have done better that we know next time, okay,
lessons learned, but have the audacity. And again, worst that can happen is you fall on your face. So what?
Yeah. If anything, you guys need to go back and look at our first episode or a couple episodes, because like we were literally on a couch. We set up our own camera. We had one single camera, one angle. It was my brother's and my brother's tripod.
Shout out, Calvin.
Like it was barely standing on the tripod. Luckily, Samira somehow figured out a way to work it, and we had some engineer coming to help us see how to press record. We had our own like light situation that had a lot of shadows. So like now we're filming at TD Garden, at Big Night Media. We film over in New York, right? So trust yourself. Like there's gonna be things that you don't know.
Now we're on tour.
Yeah,
like
we're
it's
on
so
tour.
crazy to think about.
I'm like, it's been a year and some change. Like, we're having events, we're hosting, we're doing all kinds of stuff. So.
Honestly, this is for any girl that's listening. Like, and two, it's so easy to compare yourself. Like, we even looked at it and we're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to get to that point? But to see how far that we've come, it's just really trusting the process and trust that, like, God has everything planned and divine for you. You just need to stick with it. It's so easy to, like, be like, okay, the numbers, like, mind you, TikTok playing with us. Like, we're getting 200 views too. Like, we're in TikTok jail and we got shadow banned. But, like, you just got to keep posting, keep showing up, because your next video, like they said, look at a TikTok video like a lottery ticket. It was a creator. If we cut this, she's like, look at every video, you have to think about it like a lottery ticket because it can take off, right? And it's like, if you keep posting, and these are free lottery tickets, you don't even got to pay for them, right? So I'm like, why wouldn't you post, right? You're one video away from going viral.
I'd like that.
One video.
Lottery ticket. Yes, I'm about to play the lottery. I like that.
All right, let's really quickly get into our fall glow up segments. We're really just gonna see, because this fall it's getting a little bit chilly out here, so here's a little bit of glow up tips for my girls that's getting to fall, new routine. How do you use seasonal energy in like a new season to reset your goals?
Oh my gosh, first thing that comes to mind to me is like the different seasons and the energy of them, because I feel like my brain immediately goes to
so what is fall energy?
So fall energy is like the leaves are falling down, you know, so it's like you're kind of like shedding layers. Like you're letting go. Yes, you gotta let go.
Of that toxicity.
Yeah, let go of everything that doesn't serve you, because winter's coming and you gotta have to hibernate, and you don't need no extra baggage to go into winter.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh my God, so what's winter?
Winter is when you put your head down, you lock in, you you work, you stay inside.
So that's when you get summer body ready.
Yes. You put summer body.
We need to do it this winter.
I know. We ain't been in the gym. You get summer body ready, you lock in, and you go to work, okay? You put your head down. And then the springtime, you are starting to come out. That's when the roses bloom. So it's like you're getting ready to bloom because you've been putting all the work in. You've been planting the seeds all winter. So now, now the seeds are coming out, and you get
you're saying by this
flourish.
Spring, we popping off.
Yes, you're starting to pop off. And then when summer comes, it's hot girl summer. It's on. It's go. You're in the sun. You got the energy every single day. The sun rise early. You're big late all summer.
So now we're
in the fall.
Leaves are we're shedding.
Yeah, we got to do some reflection.
Removing.
You know, we had hot girl summer. We got to see, what did we do right? What did we do wrong?
I love that. Okay. You answered that to T. I have nothing to add.
Period.
Perfect.
Hey.
I love it.
Aw, thank you. That's where my mind went.
Period. I love it. You ate that. You ate that up.
I ate and left no crumbs. Period.
Material girl.
Okay. I got another fall glow up question from my good sis.
Tell me.
Okay. A lot of people deal with seasonal depression, and we know fall is coming and then winter right around the corner, especially in Boston. Okay, so I'm not sure if you've experienced seasonal depression before, or if you know someone.
When I lived here in Boston.
Okay,
thank God I got a home in Florida, so I don't deal with that anymore.
Period. But how do you deal with seasonal depression?
When I was in college and I lived here, I think I was very big on routine, and I'm a very routine and. I hate to say that. Like, I'm like, I used to eat every time I woke up. I ate the same things. Like, and I went to work out I worked out a certain time, and I went to class at a certain time. So I think for me, it's sticking to my routine, because sometimes when it gets too cold, right, you're like, dang, I don't want to work out today, or like. It gets too cold and like you skip a meal, or maybe you're like, I'm not saying you can't eat off track, but like you're eating like crazy, like you wouldn't normally eat. So I would say, like, personally, like what helped me, because mind you, I'm a Floridian coming to live here in Boston, and it gets dark at 4 p.m. Like, it was a very big shift for me. So I would definitely say my freshman year, I was like, what is this? Because it's 4 p.m. and it's like darkness. And I'm like, cold. I'm a morning person too. So I'm like, I don't see light and it's cold. Like, there were times, because when I lived on the Newton campus for all my BC Eagles. So it's like you have to take a bus to go to the main campus. Like, and the bus would come like every 15 minutes. So I would start walking to the bus, and then the bus would leave. And I'd go, okay, bet. I would turn my ass right back to the bus.
I'm not going to school today.
I'm not. The whole day was canceled. I said, the bus will leave. I said, okay, bet.
Samira, that's crazy.
I literally said, I saw the bus leave. The bus had nothing for me, and I had nothing for the bus. So I said, bye, bus.
Bye, bus.
And then luckily there was like a little gym in the back of the Newton campus. I would put my little gym clothes on, and I go to a little treadmill, and I run.
That's crazy. You skipping class.
So I really got, I wouldn't recommend that. Go to school. Don't listen to me. It's a very expensive education. But personally, I'm just not somebody that needs class to do well on tests. So personally,
you were like, I'm gonna make it work.
But
class ain't
I think the answer to this question is sticking to a routine and trying your best. Like, sometimes things don't follow through, but like, you need to follow through and you need to show up. Hold yourself accountable when those things happen, right?
Routine.
Because sometimes when it gets cold and stuff, you just want to be in bed. Like, you don't want to get up. No, get up. If you go normally for a walk, go for your walk. Like, you need to, and then and people like to make up excuses. They're like, okay, it's raining today. Well, do you have a gym membership? Do the walk on the treadmill. There's always an answer to that excuse that you have.
She's clocking the tea today, girl.
Yeah, hold yourself accountable, sis. Period.
All right,
let's go to the next one. We don't have time. Okay, question. How do you create fall routines that usually stick?
This is actually a good question for me right now, because I really feel like I don't have a routine, and I also feel very inspired.
We don't have no routine because we're on a plane every day at this point.
Well, I feel inspired by your answer to the last question about seasonal depression, because I'm like, well, I don't have a routine, and sometimes I wake up and I be wanting to stay in bed too. So I feel like I probably, for my fall routine, I need to maybe get like my calendar together. I think the night before, writing down like my to-do list, setting my alarm, and then maybe like blocking out my calendar based off of what I wrote I needed to do, because I think some days when I wake up with my head scrambled, and I don't have a list of what needs to get done, like, not everything will get done, because I'll forget all of it or half of it, right? And it will just be the most immediate things that come to mind, and all of a sudden my day's over, or I forget to eat or whatever. So obviously for us, when we're traveling, I don't have the answer to that yet.
We need to figure that out. And if someone has a good travel routine that they can share with us, because we don't know. We don't have no solution for you.
All we doing is working.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we're not missing.
Working out, no eating. Some meals missed. It's not good.
Yeah, we barely hydrate.
Yeah, we need to figure that out.
Yeah.
But at home, I feel like at this point, we need to hold each other accountable. So we will. Anyways, really quick, segment 5, glow up mindset.
All right.
So really, how do you glow up in overcoming setbacks?
Okay, well, I think this is a good question. How do you stay motivated when things feel overwhelming?
I feel like I'm the queen of this question. I think personally, and maybe this is like because I don't internalize things, and I don't internalize overwhelming feelings either. But I think my advice to that question is that take things step by step. I think like Liz, on the other hand, I think when she gets overwhelmed, she just stops doing stuff. And I have my other, I love you, Seb. He's the same way too. I just take things like I have a list in my head, and you can write down the list, and then I get that done, and I get that down, and by the end of the day, like, even if I don't complete the entire list, at least personally, I feel like I've achieved things because I'm checking some things off. I think if you sit there and just don't do anything, and I think you will become more overwhelmed, and it'll become to pile up that you're just become so behind that you don't want to do any of it. So I feel like tackling little by little day is you are tackling through that list, and it will help with that overwhelming feeling because you are getting through tasks.
Yeah. I feel like when I do check things off my list, I do feel better, but some days I wish I didn't have a list to check off.
But my thing is like, that's where it's like a mindset shift, right? Because it's like, you're blessed to wake up today to have a list. Yeah, so I think that's like, I always remind myself, like, even like when I don't want to work out, I'm like, okay, I feel blessed that I can move my body. There's people my age that, that either have chronic disease or whatever the case, or didn't even wake up today. So like, I try to always have that mindset shift. So that I feel blessed to get to do the work. I mean, I could be boo-boo crying in corporate, but now I have a list of doing my own stuff. So I'm like, you got to choose your poison. Choose your heart.
Yeah.
So do you want to be clocking in somebody telling you what to do, or do you have a list that you get to create your own freedom? Like,
yeah. I like that. I think mentally having those reminders, even maybe the night before, could be really great. I think I'm going to do that because I like everything I learned today. So I'm going to try to create my routine, girls. I hope you do it too. And I'm going to remind myself too when I'm making my list that it is a blessing to have this long list.
Yay! Period. You see, she did with a smile. Period. All right, fast round. Okay.
All right.
Coffee, matcha, or meditation?
Coffee, matcha.
Coffee or matcha or meditation?
Matcha.
Ooh, same.
Okay. Side hustle or sleep?
Side hustle all day. Gotta get this money.
Gotta get this bag. Quit job now or survive for the experience?
Survive for, well, it depends, right? Corporate, quit that shit. Your own, obviously survive for the experience.
Duh.
Confront toxic friend or ghost?
Confront, for sure.
100%. We're literally the same on these.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
Spend money on self-care or save for security?
Spend that money. You can't die in the grave with that coin.
Yeah, I agree, but save a little bit, okay? You need emergency funds. People don't be having no money saved.
I agree, but I also think like a lot of people will try to save. They'll save, and I'm like, for what?
Yeah, I agree.
For what?
At least save and put it in.
Some people they'll even not like they're not cheerful givers either, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yeah,
like the money is meant to spend.
I totally agree.
Be a cheerful giver.
Okay.
Bible says to.
Hustle 24/7 or chill and recharge?
Right now, I'm definitely a hustle 24/7 because I didn't touch my M yet. Hopefully, when I touch my M, I can chill and recharge.
Period. Apply for a dream job or play it safe?
Is that even a question for us?
A question? Dream job.
Social media scrolling, inspiring, or soul sucking?
Honestly, it depends on the day. I feel
like you're more inspiring and I'm more soul sucking.
Really?
I feel like you take in things that help you, and I like to hear tea, which could be soul sucking to some people, but really it feeds my soul.
Yeah. That's why I said it depends on the day, because some days my feed is giving soul sucking or I'm too tired. Like last night, I didn't do much scrolling because it was giving soul sucking. But some days I get inspired. It depends.
I love that.
It depends.
All right, we may stir the pot.
It's going to get hot.
But trust.
You just hit the jackpot. Okay. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. You know where to find us, and give us 5 stars. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.